Welcome back, mother lovers, to a brand new episode of Last Call at McLaren's, the best damn How I Met Your Mother and Father podcast right here on the internets. I am your host, Josh. What's up?
One of these days, you're going to make that comment, and we are going to end up in one of those big gang wars like in Anchorman 2, where it's going to be all these fucking podcasts coming together, and we're going to have to battle it out for the supremacy of the yellow umbrella.
It's true, you know.
And there's only fucking two of us, man.
We're scrappy. Come on.
Folks, I'm Scrappy and you're Scooby.
This is my best bud, John. How you doing, man? You seem like you're in a damn good mood.
I am pumped up and ready to talk about the season finale of How I Met Your Father.
Yeah, man. What a season finale it was.
Now, before we get into breaking down like everything about the episode and you get into who directed and blah, 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 did this episode make you cry?
Yes.
I mean, yes, this was everything I was expecting the entire season and more. Yeah. The payoff was amazing. The two cameos were phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, you could not get a better episode than the season finale.
Yeah, it was perfect for what they were building toward. I don't know if I feel like there was only one other thing, which is very small, and I make a note as you know. I'll get to it when we talk through the episode. But of one thing that I would have liked to have seen, it's very small though, and didn't change
was
how
it
much
Ranjit?
I loved it. No, but that would have been pretty cool too.
Because I'm pretty sure he was going to be the one driving the limo, picking Robin up.
That would have been pretty dope. We just kind of go outside with her, and she gets in, and it's Ranjit, and they drive off. That would have been pretty dope. I gotta say, badass. I would have really enjoyed that. But no, I hadn't even thought about that.
My rant is over. Please continue with your statistics.
All right, folks. Like he said, we are here for the season finale of How I Met Your Father. Season 1, Episode 10, Timing is Everything, aired March 15th of 2022, directed by Pamela Fryman. She gets in for the final episode here, and written by the showrunners, Isaac Aptaker and Elizabeth Berger. So, which makes sense, you know, they started it, they want to finish it off and make it strong.
Oh yeah, bookmark it.
And they did a hell of a job making it strong. The summary for this leaves a little bit out, I gotta say. I almost added some of my own. I was like, you know what? No, I haven't done that yet. I'm not going to do it now. So it says, Sophie gets romantic advice from someone who's been through it all. Valentina and Charlie face a tough crossroads, and Jesse makes a choice. Nothing about Ellen, nothing about Sid and Hannah.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, so like I said,
it's kind of shitty.
They leave a little bit out, but and I almost put something in about Sid and Hannah, and then I was like, well, if I do that, I got to put something in about Ellen, and that's getting kind of crowded, and I was like, fuck it. This is the official Hulu synopsis, or, summary or whatever that they have, so I'm just going with it. So there it is.
You heard it first, people. He's just going with it.
That's right. So this episode, really, it breaks down into three main kind of storylines. We get something extra at the beginning, which is great, which ties into the ending. And then we have the three separate storylines kind of running throughout. So we'll start off with the captain and Becky going through their divorce at the very beginning here.
Yeah, man.
It's crazy stuff. We get some cool references here. He mentions Farhampton.
I mean, he references a lot between
which I thought was
and
cool.
The ending.
He's got a bottle of Glen McKenna from 1831. An almost 200-year-old bottle of Glen McKenna.
That was worth over like $3 million.
$3 million, man. And I mean, I know I'm jumping a little ahead here, but when he rips that fucker open, it hurt. It like broke my heart a little bit.
I mean, we don't ever really go in order anyway, and you're talking about the captain's shit right now anyway. So it works. The thing that made me laugh is that we got Becky's classic line broken down into a new version.
She wants three things, John, and what are those three things?
Boats, boats.
And I was so happy when she said that. Even though I was like, oh, she's gonna take his fucking boats. It was still great to hear her say it.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it was just I feel really bad because, like, obviously she really loved the captain. Because I mean, they've been together for years at this point.
Yeah.
So it's like, fuck, man. Like, you're gonna throw all that away for some random piece of ass, like.
Yeah.
And since we're talking about the captain stuff and we're kind of talking about his beginning and end there, with the court thing, I love that he's like, I haven't been this upset since somebody stole my pineapple in 2005.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Canonizing the deleted scene for the pineapple incident.
Yep.
And if you don't know what we're talking about, go check out the pineapple incident episode of Last Call at MacLaren'S, where we shoehorn that in there in the episode. It's a great deleted scene. If you haven't seen it, you can look it up on YouTube.
Yep. It's one of the very few deleted scenes that they actually have available.
Yeah.
Like How I Met Your Mother was known for not including the things like deleted scenes.
Yeah.
Which I thought was always a bummer. Because like I have the DVD set, you don't get bloopers and stuff if you don't get deleted scenes, and so it was really a bummer. But that one has always stood out because like it answered an age-long question, a whole entire series-long question about what the fuck happened.
It also, you're gonna love this because I'm gonna use this to go back and we'll start another storyline. You ready for this? It shows that even when you're telling a specific part of a story, timing is everything.
It is.
Oh,
it is everything, man. And this whole episode really is about timing.
Yeah.
For everybody. And I love the way that they kind of subtly do that. They don't make they talk about the whole timing thing in one of when with Robin and everything, which obviously if you haven't watched the episode, what the fuck are you doing? That's on you. But she specifically talks about that, but it literally weaves through all of the storylines. So
let's talk about the most short storyline of it. Let's talk about Ellen.
Oh, you want to do Ellen as a separate? I had her, Charlie, and Vale all together because really, they're all together until the last Ellen scene where she's by herself. Like
let's wrap it in there then.
Yeah, so we'll do Charlie, Vale, Ellen. So here we go, Charlie, Vale, Ellen.
This story arc kills me.
Yeah, I love that Ellen comes back to the apartment and like Charlie and Vale are in bed, but he's still awake because he can't sleep until she gives him like back scratches and sings Enya to him.
Yeah. Makes me wonder which Enya song it is, though.
That's true.
That shit's Only Time.
I mean, that would work. Timing is everything, right?
I mean, I thought that before I really thought about the whole time it was everything, but yeah, probably.
It works, man. It works. Ellen comes home with a cat.
With a very nice cat that hates her.
Yeah, the cat totally you hear it hissing throughout even just kind of subtly. She'll just be sitting there and you hear the the growl from the cat, which I think is kind of hilarious to me because this cat just does not like her.
Is it hilarious?
I thought it was pretty funny because she wants so desperately to have this cat kind of fill a void for her.
I mean, she's the only one at this point though who's dramatically single. She's going through so much shit. She uprooted her entire life. Her brother's got all this shit going on. All her friends have shit going on. And then there's just Ellen, who can't seem to find a job, can't seem to find love.
We do kind of figure out why she's having such a hard time finding dates.
Yeah.
Because she apparently has her dating app set to couples only.
Yep. However,
I will say this,
though. They showed a little bit of a scene when she's doing the meeting with Goliath.
Yeah.
And she makes the joke, "Oh, you're the head of lettuce."
Yeah.
And he's like, "What?"
I don't get. Yeah, he didn't get it.
She's like, "The head of lettuce." And I'm like, how fucking stupid do you have to be? Like, even if you don't get the joke,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's common knowledge that a thing of lettuce comes as a head.
Yeah, like I thought it was a clever, funny joke, and this dude's just like, it took him forever to figure out this joke. It reminded me of Dogma with Jay. He's like,
holy bartender.
Oh, I get it, a holy bartender. That's a great one. That's what it reminded me of because it's like it just took him so long to get this joke, and I'm just like, dude, it's a killer joke. What are you talking about?
Mean, she gets the job though in the end, and that's
she does. Yeah, she does.
Now,
he figures out the joke, and it makes it impresses him enough to, I think, to where I think that's why he gave her the job.
I don't doubt that at all.
Was the joke?
So not to get too far ahead of that part of the storyline, but the Charlie Vale side of it is very sad because they're obviously going through some shit.
Yeah, we now know, because like we talked about it in the last episode, why Charlie has that look on his face at the end.
Yes.
You know, they embrace, he's got this look. We said it in the episode, you know, something bad is coming.
Yep.
And sure as shit, man, they didn't hold back here. Charlie tells Ellen that he doesn't want kids, but Vale does. Because she mentioned that in the previous episode, and I thought was
up with the cat in this one.
What I thought was interesting in both How I Met Your Mother and How I Met Your Father, the foreigner doesn't want kids.
Oh shit! You know, I
just thought that was interesting with Robin, you know, being from Canada and everything. Yeah, I don't know if it just kind of happened that way or if they were thinking about that at all. I don't know, but I just thought it was interesting, especially because she's in the episode later on.
She is.
Let's see. What else do we got in here? So he says that he doesn't want kids because he doesn't want to turn into his mother, who became, he says, a mean and spiteful woman. But it's like, just because she did doesn't mean you will, dude. And exactly. I get the fear, but he is so like dead set at no, that he obviously doesn't believe in himself enough to where he would be different from her. You know?
I mean, I get it. I get having the fear in the back of your mind and using it to push you to be a better parent. But at the same time, man, he's young. He doesn't know what it's like to be on his own and shit yet. So I kind of get that fear of not wanting to fuck a kid's life up. I things can turn around because Robin, for the most part, always said throughout the show running too, she never wanted kids. And it wasn't until she found out she couldn't have kids that her attitude towards that kind of changed a little bit. Yeah, she also was always like, I never want to get married. And she got married in that show as well. So, yeah, you know, I mean, we know people who used to say they never wanted kids, and now they have a kid. So, hi, Sherry. And so, you know, things can change. Things can definitely change. But as they're chatting, Vale wakes up, and then she gets all maternal with the cat. So maternal with the cat. Yeah, and it's just like right away, just boom, all like, oh, cute baby. It's just like, yeah, Charlie freaking out a bit here. What I thought was really funny is where Ellen's like, oh, yeah, the cat likes me too. And she like picks it up, and the cat's like, and I'm just like, oh man, it was so funny because you can hear it in her voice where she's just like, oh yeah, the cat and me. Yeah. Oh, because it was going to be her emotional support animal. Yeah. We didn't mention that. I thought that was worth mentioning. That's true. Yeah. So I love where the Ellen part of this storyline ends, where she's like going to take the cat somewhere with her, and as she's leaving the across. It's because things get awkward because Charlie blurts out that he doesn't want kids. Yes. He's like, I don't want kids ever, because like she's getting all maternal, and then she's like, clockwork, and she just takes the cat. I think she winds up going in her room at one point. Yeah. And then she comes back out, and the cat's in a duffel bag. Yep. Which I thought was hilarious.
because she doesn't have a cat carrier. It's not her cat.
Yeah.
So she and the line, she's like, it reached up through and scratched my nipple.
Yeah, it got under my bra and scratched my nipple.
Ellen has some good. Her part is very short in this episode, but it was
in the last episode though too.
That's true, but she had some good stuff in it, so I'll give her that. But yeah, then the ending stuff with her, I thought was really good. She's out in the hallway and she runs into none other than Rachel.
Yep. For those of you who don't remember Rachel, she's the granddaughter of the lady across the hall. Mm-hmm. We met her a couple of episodes ago when they went. Ellen specifically went over there to steal tomatoes.
Yep.
The whole tomato
during her wake funeral type thing.
Yeah. Like ballsy. So then they get to talking about how Ellen had made such a bad first impression.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm sorry as well. And then she's like, oh, you seem really distraught. And Rachel's like, well, I kind of am because my grandma's cat got out. And Ellen's like, oh my God, I found your cat. And I love again though, as she unzips the bag and is picking him up to hand him over. Cat's like,
yeah. The whole time this cat is not
digging. Just hates her.
Yeah. Yeah, and because of all of this, Rachel gives her a second chance. And
instantly, Ellen sneezes in her face.
Yeah, because we forgot to mention that she kind of has this sneezing attack earlier.
I'm assuming she's allergic to cats.
Yeah, she must be. That's going to work out real well.
Antihistamines, man.
That's true. Yeah, so...
but yeah, she totally just right in her... She's like, achoo! And then she's like, third first impression.
Yeah. But yeah, like the episode says, timing is everything, right?
Yes.
It wasn't quite yet their time before, but now it is,
And then we can finish up the Val and Charlie story when we get to Sophie's ending.
Yes. Yeah.
Because all that comes together and plays together.
Yeah.
And that's where I started bawling. I lost it.
Yeah, because there was a little bit left in the apartment where Charlie and Val hash it out after Ellen leaves, and she wants a big family. He's adamant that he never wants kids, and neither of them think that they'll change their mind. And so it's just what the fuck is gonna? You're sitting there watching this, you're like, what the fuck is gonna happen here? Are they really just gonna end things after all this? And we'll get to that when
we'll get to
the end.
That.
And so then we had the little bit. This is actually the smallest overall storyline, and it's the Sid and Hannah stuff.
Yeah,
it's the smallest, but it has a big impact.
I mean, it does.
Yeah. So they're discussing. First off, they're discussing her fellowship and kind of what that impact, how that is going to impact them and the wedding and everything. And Sid, he at first he acts real supportive. They're going to be this bi-coastal power couple, John.
Hell yeah. One gets bagels. The other one got
burritos.
Yeah. That's what it was.
Bagels and burritos. And, she's going to wear a bikini while he's going to wear mittens.
I was a little intrigued by that. I'm not going to lie.
So I thought that was hilarious.
I mean, I feel really bad because he really does try to be supportive at first.
Yeah, and then, he does.
And then reality sets in, and that's when these two start having problems.
Yeah, they meet with their wedding planner, who we've never seen before.
No.
It's apparently they have a wedding planner, even though they've been planning it the whole time, but they have a wedding planner too. Okay. And she shows them the prices for the two weddings, and Sid freaks out.
Well, man. I mean, I get it. I mean, it's a lot of money.
Hannah keeps her cool. I feel like Hannah kind of had an idea, because she's been entrenched in the wedding planning. So I think she kind of understood, okay, yeah, this is going to be expensive. Sid, as we've talked throughout the episodes, has been kind of not really as involved. Yeah, he's not pulling his weight. It's a good way to put it. And is completely shocked at the price of these two.
Oh, my God. So shocked.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what he was expecting to spend, considering, like she said, they're having 2 weddings, one of which is in fucking India.
Yeah. So it's like,
but if he needs that white horse, she can hook them up at a good rate because she's messing around with the horse guy.
Yep.
They are
the white horse king, just like the Tiger King, but for white horses. That's right. Now, hopefully, he didn't also kill Carol, help to kill Carol Baskin's husband or whatever the fuck happened in that show. I never watched it, so I actually have no idea what the fuck was going on in that Tiger King show.
Joe Exotic was killed by Carol Baskins and her husband.
No, Joe Exotic's in prison.
Yeah, sorry.
Something I see. I
didn't watch it either.
About her husband, I don't know if Joe Exotic was involved or if that's just Carol. I don't know. You guys can tell us. I don't really care though.
But yeah, so they kind of get into it a little bit down the road, and there's this huge hash out about the money aspect to it. She thought they would be this power couple, and he's like, well, we can't be a power couple when you're off doing your thing and I'm trying to be here. Yeah. And it's really sad because it's a real argument that I could see happening. Yeah. And it had the emotion of like, I know this is a TV show, but it had like real emotion there where it's like,
and they make you question, is this relationship about to end?
Yeah.
Because like Hannah even says like, how are we supposed to do this? Or she's like, you kind of sound like you don't even want to be planning these weddings anymore.
Yeah.
And that right there, it's like, oh, come on, don't do this to me, guys.
Well, especially because like she makes a comment at one point he makes the comment where he's like, he goes, we're spending all this money going back and forth and stuff. He's like, we can't save money anywhere.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's scary.
And he expected her to be back after those few months, and now they're talking about a year extension of this, of going back and forth and all that. Yeah. So they're definitely not going to have any money doing that. And so I get it.
Plus he's trying to keep a bar active,
that a bar that, as he has said in the past, is hemorrhaging money.
So I guess we'll see. I mean, because we'll finish up that storyline when we get back to the very end too.
Yeah, everything nicely. It's like usually the episodes start all together, branch out, and sometimes they all come back together. This one, they started all branched out and they all filter in together at the end, which is nice. I like that for a finale.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. All right, John. It's time to talk about Jesse and Sophie. It's the big storyline. We've been waiting all week to find out what the fuck was going to happen. The end of last week, Sophie's at the restaurant. Jesse's late.
Yep.
She's sitting there wondering what the fuck is happening.
What the fuck? And we
that's
find out what the fuck.
Yeah, man.
Because she's still sitting at the table at the beginning of her story.
That's right.
And Jesse comes running in. He's out of breath. And she's like, you're late. And he goes, I know. I was going to take the subway, but that guy with the kids.
the guy with the break-dancing twins.
And I'm like, I want to know this story. And I'm glad they give you like a little synopsis over it really quick. Like he's like, like child labor laws and blah, blah, blah. And I didn't want to have a repeat moment.
Yeah, so which means he's obviously had a bad interaction with this dude before, which I think is funny.
So he ran to the restaurant. And then he wants to be clean with Sophie. So he tells her everything.
Yeah. Which I think was the right move. Absolutely.
Oh, it was absolutely the right move.
Yeah.
But so here's where I'm torn on the whole thing, because it's like, I do get it. I wholeheartedly understand where he's like, I'm going to come clean. But I think she overreacts to it. Because it's not like he's like, I have feelings for her.
Well, she doesn't know. She reacts positively. Because she's like, did you find the closure that you needed? And he's like, yes. And then she smiles. She's happy about that.
Oh, yeah. No, it's the next day.
It's later. Because then they sleep together.
They do.
Yeah. The reaction.
Slow, but yes.
Yeah. The reaction happens with the other stuff. Which, yeah, I do believe she overreacts with the other stuff. So they sleep together twice. And then the during the sleep, while Jesse is asleep, he pulls a Ted Mosby and says, "I love you, Sophie," in his sleep.
Yep.
Yeah.
You ever told somebody you love them like that?
I mean, if so, they've never said anything.
What is the most awkward "I love you" story you have?
Man, I mean, I've come close to a Ted Mosby and said it pretty early on, like within the first week or so before. That relationship did not last long.
Oh,
but I mean, a lot of my early ones didn't last long, anyways. But yeah, so Sophie freaks out and tries to sneak out of bed.
Yes,
I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, he's asleep. It is what it is, you know.
Yep.
I mean, we find out later on she's so afraid of things, but her freak out is the thing that caused all the issues here.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
And that's the thing. Like, if she hadn't freaked out, she wouldn't have pushed him back into the arms of Meredith.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking with everything that happened, because if she had just kind of taken a breath and thought of, and just kind of like, it's not like he was awake and saying, "Hey, this is what I feel." And even after she talks to him about it, you know, like, yeah, he says he doesn't think it's all that crazy that it happened, but I mean, they've been kind of chasing each other all season, really.
Well, so here's my question. Okay. If we were to parallel where we are in the How I Met Your Father storyline, what year? The year they're in 2022 right now.
Yeah.
Right? They're in our year. So where are we with Ted? Would still be with Tracy at this point then. Tracy hasn't died
Tracy
yet,
doesn't die until 2024. There's actually a scene in How I Met Your Mother set in 2022, if you remember. It's a shot of Tracy's in bed and Ted brings her the hangover cure and the kids are there. So that's where they are in 2022.
Because the whole Robin appearance, I was thinking about this and I was like, well, we don't know what's going on in Robin's life at this point. We don't know if she's divorced from Barney yet.
We do though. We do know, because they were only married for 3 years. Which means they got divorced in 2016. So they've been divorced for 6 years at this point. Yeah.
Because where I was going with this is, she gives Sophie that advice of time is everything.
Yeah.
And knowing your timing, because she straight out says Ted, she doesn't say it by name, but she's like, I had a guy tell me he loved me on the first date. And Sophie's like, yikes. And she's like, well, yeah, yikes, but he was speaking his heart. And there are things where you hear it all the time. You can love somebody for 4 or 5 years and feel a specific way, and meet somebody in 2 months feel that exact same way. Who's to actually say when you should tell somebody you love them? Because it's different with every person.
No, yeah, absolutely, man. So yeah, let's kind of talk about all that stuff. Jesse gets pissed off. I mean, I wouldn't say pissed, but he's upset.
Yeah, he's totally upset because she should have talked to him about it.
And he tells her to leave. Because she tells him, maybe you should have taken, Meredith up on her offer.
Yeah, because this is where that comes up. He's like, I turned down going on the road, and she's like, well, for what? That's your dream. Now I could be holding you back.
Yeah.
And he's like, but I don't want that with her.
Yeah.
Which I think is a respectable answer.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, this is what I want. I don't want that with Meredith, though. I want that on my own.
Yeah.
And she's like, but I could be holding you back. And that idiot.
Yeah.
That was a real idiot move on Sophie's part.
It was. And so he, rightly so, I think, asks her to leave.
Yep.
He's like, just go.
And where does she go to soothe her problems? Except for the one place Josh has wanted the entire season.
Yes.
McLaren's Pub.
Hells yeah. The namesake to this podcast, Let's go to McLaren's, John. Hell's yeah. And
it
who
was
do we
me.
meet first?
Carl the bartender.
Hell's yeah. It's funny because
Put on some weight.
she walks into the bar and he's standing there with his back to us, and I'm like, that's Carl right there.
Yep. I was like, oh, there's Carl.
As soon as I saw the bald head, I was like, that's fucking Carl. And then he turns around, I was like, yes. And they're like, she tries to order a whiskey, and like she has no idea what she's doing.
In some weird way, though. I want it neat, straight up.
She's like, yeah, I want it. No, how does she say it? Shit, now I don't remember, because she's like, I want a whiskey, something neat, straight up, which like are. Or no. She says straight up, neat, and on the rocks. That's what she says.
Yes.
And neat and on the rocks are the opposite of one another. Which I'm like, what are you talking about, girl?
On the rocks is with ice.
I'm honestly not sure what straight up is.
I'm pretty sure straight up means don't water it down.
Oh, okay. So it's just so just the alcohol. Okay. Well, that makes sense. But yeah, I love it because he's like that order makes no sense.
And then we get a familiar voice.
Yes.
And it's like, all order, blah. And it's Robin Scherbatsky.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, if you didn't catch the name drop like the 5 times we said it, then shocker.
Yes. Fucking Robin Scherbatsky, man. And
I love Sophie knows who she is.
Yep.
Oh my God, you're Robin Scherbatsky.
Now, if season 2, if we don't see like bus ads or in random shit like that of Robin, I'm gonna be a little pissed because like we've already seen her.
Yeah,
they can start peppering in Metro News 1 shit or whatever.
Oh, yeah,
all over the place.
Especially because we know Robin's still running for the news because Sophie literally says it.
Yeah, so I better see at least some stuff like that. You know, give me a mustache Marshall billboard. Just saying.
So like we had kind of brushed over this a little bit, but yeah, Robin pretty much tells Sophie like, don't let this guy get away. Like this is the guy. Obviously, timing is just what it is. Like it happens when it happens.
Yeah, she tells her, she's like, don't waste your time being scared. Is what she said. She said the only things that she regrets in life are the things that she did out of fear. Which I was like, that's. And that hits you, you know.
Yeah, that was solid.
Thinking about that.
However, though,
and while they're sitting at the bar, because like eventually they move over to the booth, which I was like, yes, the fucking booth. But while they're at the bar talking, Robin, you know, she mentions, you know, I used to spend a lot of time in here with my friends, you know, and all this stuff. And she multiple times she glances over at the booth, and you can just feel that like that she misses it.
She misses it.
And it's like, wow, just from a look, you get that. And I was like, man, that's some good shit right there.
Well, she's straight out. I mean, like, because she says, like, they spent years sitting in the bar talking about their relationship problems and all that. And that's why she listens to Sophie, because, you know, and then, so when she tells Sophie to, like, you know, go handle the situation, like, I'm like, yeah, that's the Robin we know. But you know, in her head, she misses Ted. She knows she missed her opportunity to have that great guy. Yeah, because
you kind of get a little bit of that when she mentions the whole the guy who said I love you on the first date.
Yep.
And Sophie's like, yeah, he must have been a piece of work. And she's like, yeah, he was a piece of work, but a good piece of work. You know? And you can kind of see that in her face. You know, she's like, you can see that she misses him.
I mean, besides Ted, she only ever dated
she misses because at this point she's kind of separated herself from most of the gang.
Yeah,
really. You know, we know that from watching the show.
Yeah,
that she does that after, you know, she gets kind of bigger, and you can tell she misses all of them.
I mean, they're her best friends. Like, you know, they spent years together.
Yeah.
So Sophie runs upstairs to try and, you know, fix things with Jesse. And what does she see, Josh?
Jesse's already got Meredith there, and they're making out. And it's
man, they're like,
it's like, I don't know how long Sophie was in the bar. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. They were at the bar talking, then they moved over to the booth. So they were probably there for a little bit, but like, goddamn, man, he didn't fucking wait.
Didn't wait at
She
all.
probably walked out the door, and he's like, hey, Meredith, come on over. I'm going to go on tour with you. Let's make out.
But here's the thing, though. He wanted time to think about shit.
Yeah.
And yet you're going to call Meredith? Like, your head is really fucked up. And you're calling Meredith?
Yeah.
I was like, So Sophie goes back downstairs, and she starts venting to Robin a little bit more.
Yeah.
And Robin's like, look, this isn't the end. You know, this is, again, where timing is everything. And she's like, you're right. And, you know, this is where another part of the story kicks in, because, like, we were talking about the whole captain storyline.
Yeah, there was one other thing that I wanted to mention, though. And this is it ties into what the thing that I said I wish had happened that didn't happen.
Okay.
So while her and Robin were talking, this is before she goes upstairs, she tells her, go and talk to yourself 20 years in the future.
Oh, yeah.
And it made me think of the episode with Ted, and he's talking to all the future versions of him and Barney, and I was really, really hoping we'd get Kim Cattrall and Hilary Duff interacting. She would talk to her future self, in her mind or whatever, and we would get to see that. But we didn't, unfortunately. I was really hoping to get that.
I mean, even if they did what they did in the episode with Barney and Ted, they could have had like a freeze frame moment where it's just like her sitting across from herself, and she's like, look, if you don't go up there and do this, you're going to regret it. Or
like maybe like she goes upstairs, and before she rounds the corner, maybe she hesitates. And then that's where Kim Cattrall pops in, and she's like, you got to do this. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think it would have been, I would have really enjoyed that a lot. I don't know.
I was thinking something similar to that when I was watching the episode. Like, are they going to do this? And then they didn't. And I was kind of.
I think that's the only thing I would have added, honestly.
Fair. And that's fair.
Yeah. So, but yeah. Also, one other thing I just want to say. Robin and Carl had some great banter. It was awesome to see them kind of back together doing their thing at the bar. That whole scene, it filled my heart with joy.
I will say this. When Robin's leaving the bar to leave, and like after like Sophie comes back down and she's getting ready, she looks at Sophie and she goes, look, we'll do this again in 20 years. But you've got to pay because Mama ain't made of cash. And I was like, oh my God.
Pure Robin right there.
TV reporter who just picked up probably like a good like $200 tab.
Yeah.
And you're like, next time you've got to pay though because Mama ain't got money.
Now, what would you have thought if when Sophie first sees her, if she was like, oh, you're Robin Sparkles? That
would have been even funnier.
That just crossed my mind right now. I was like, oh man, that would have been pretty goddamn fun. It wouldn't hit the same emotional marks, you know what I mean? Because it would have been too much, humor or whatever, I think, for that moment, but I would have laughed, I'll say that much.
I mean, it would have been funny. You were correct. So then Sophie goes off to her photo thing.
Yep, over to the gallery.
This is where all the storylines kind of start to come back together because she sees her picture hanging up there, and it's it's Jessie, and she's really emotional about it because you can clearly tell that photo meant the world to her.
Yeah,
and it's fucking huge. It looks beautiful up there.
Yeah, it does.
And it's her first art exhibit.
Yeah,
and then the first people to show up to congratulate her are Valentina and Charlie.
Yep,
which amazing. Yeah. And then Sid and Hannah show up.
Well, Ellen's in between.
Oh no, you're right. Ellen was in between.
And that's where we learned that she and Rachel are going to go out on a date,
and that
she got the job at Goliath Market. So
which is great for her.
Yeah,
and then Sid and Hannah show up.
Yep.
And they're like, "Listen, about the weddings, they're off." Yeah. And instantly, my fucking heart dropped, man.
Yeah,
I was like, "No." I was like, "Oh no." And he's like, "Cause it already happened." And I was like, "Oh, you fucking bastards." I'm like, they got us with the fucking fake out.
They did, man. They did. And I was like throughout the episode, I was like, just fucking just elope, guys. Yeah. Like if this thing's gonna cause you this much stress and it's gonna cost all, just fucking elope. And they did, and I was like, yes. Fucking A, man.
I was like, why don't they just like do a basic legal marriage,
Yeah.
and then just have a couple of celebrations, and you can do like a mock marriage.
Yeah,
and like
absolutely. Down the road, when you get the money, you can have a quote unquote wedding to celebrate with, when you have the ability to.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't know why more people don't do something like that, because people are out there spending money they don't have to get fucking married to somebody. Where like 95% of the time, no offense, get divorced down the road. Or
That's
separated.
true.
So why am I going to spend 10 grand on a fucking wedding when you're not going to promise me in 5 years you're still going to love me? Bitch, I'm going to put a cheap ring on your hand that I looked for with all my fucking heart, and we're going to go down to the courthouse. We're going to have a cheap-ass marriage, and then we're going to throw a big party with all our friends, and we're going to get fucking wasted, and we're going to have stories to tell for years from that.
Fair.
So then they're going to celebrate the whole Hannah and Sid getting married.
So, okay, I don't know if you had this thought, but for me, I felt really weird about the fact that Sid and Hannah are sharing this big fucking news, and Jesse's not there.
I thought that.
It's Sid's best friend.
Sid's best friend.
And he didn't bother to show up, because of everything going on. Obviously, he didn't know that was going to happen, but it just felt really weird to me. Not in a bad way for the show, just like situationally for the
I'm also not going to lie. It's kind of shitty that they dropped the news when they did, because this is Sophie's big moment.
That's true. They probably they couldn't hold it in, man. They just couldn't hold it in.
I get that, but this is her first exhibit.
Yeah.
And you just took all the flavor out of her being there.
Well, I mean, hey, maybe it made the night more interesting. I don't know.
Although I'm not gonna lie, knowing that Robin at this point had been on the episode and they were in an art exhibit, I almost expected Lily to be there.
That would have been pretty dope. I was wondering if the captain was gonna be there, because he's an art guy. You know what I mean?
Which is why I thought Lily.
Yeah.
So, but it's funny that you mentioned the captain, because this is where their story arc finishes.
Yeah.
And we go back to Kim Cattrall.
Well, we find out first off, like Sophie and Vale tell each other about their situation. They don't go into detail. Both of them are like, not tonight, but they're letting each other know that their relationships with these people are not happening, are done. It's Charlie and Vale officially broke up. We find out, because we didn't really know that until this. You kind of have the wonder, because like it seemed like that's what was going to happen. No matter, what I mean, no matter what. And so, but yeah, they kind of moved past that, and then we cut over to future Sophie, and we get an explanation.
Well, because they, like I said, they go back to the courtroom and they're talking with the captain, and this is where like she's like, I want the boats, and the boats. And he's like, you can have all the ones except for this one because of what they're doing. Yeah. And the son's like, oh my God. And she's like, yep. And he's like, please tell me, Becky, let him have the boat. And then I didn't catch this the first time. I caught it when I watched it again this morning before we recorded. They do a voiceover as they're back in the gallery, and it's Val and Sophie, and it's future Sophie's voice that says, nope. And then Val's like, oh my God, he came. And Sophie's like, who? And then she turns around. Josh's Prince Charming is standing there.
What? That's right. Ian, motherfuckers.
I will give you that, man. You called it. Ian would come in the 0 hour.
It made no sense to me that they would introduce this guy in the first episode. Yeah. He'd leave, and then we would never see him again.
Yeah.
Because they didn't know if this season was going to get picked up for a second.
But I will say this, though. With the way they played the storyline, with the captain and Becky, and captain just happened to be in the guy who owned the boat.
Yeah.
That was a really well played hand.
Yeah.
Did not see that coming.
Yeah, I didn't either. I was like, how the fuck are the captain and Becky gonna tie into all of this?
Yeah.
Like, I was like, I'm intrigued, but it's like, how the fuck? And they played it perfectly.
They played it so well.
Yeah.
So then all the storylines at this point are congruent and they're playing out. So we know that Val and Charlie are done. Sid and Hannah are married.
Yep.
Ellen got her job and she's got a date with Rachel.
Yep.
Sophie and Jesse are, gonna take a break apparently.
Yeah.
But we don't officially know what's happening with Jesse because he wasn't there at the end of this. We don't know what's going on with Drew at this point.
Well, she broke up with Drew. May or may not see him again. We might. He might pop in again later on. Who knows? Jesse's gonna leave for this tour, and that'll probably be the break between seasons.
We don't know he's leaving on tour, though.
I bet you he will.
He probably will, but
he'll probably go on tour with her, and who knows what will happen there. But that'll probably be, like I said, the break between seasons. Season 2 will pick up, and he'll be coming back from the tour or something.
Probably,
I feel like as well. But here's what my question is. Because that'll be a long time, you know what I mean? That'll be months, of them out on tour.
They do like a summer.
And so my question then is, do you think her and Ian will have been dating that amount of time?
Maybe. At least feeling things out.
Yeah, so things could get interesting and complicated, John.
So overall, thoughts on the season finale?
I thought it was a perfect season finale, for everything that we got. It culminated all the stories that we had been kind of building toward. It didn't just give us, a happy ending to everything. There was some heartbreak in there, twists and turns. We got McLaren's and the booth. We got Carl. We got Robin. We got more of the captain and Becky. And we got the pineapple confirmation, all kinds of awesome stuff that ties you into the world of How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah.
While still building on everything that they've done for the last 9 episodes for this. I thought it was fantastic, man.
I couldn't have asked for anything more out of the season finale. And that's exactly what I'm going to leave it at. Simple like that. I couldn't have asked for anything more.
Yeah. So here's my question now to you. What are your thoughts on the season overall?
Knowing what we know now, I love that we've seen the characters grow so much in 10 episodes.
Yeah.
Ellen is kind of pulling her own and Charlie's trying to deal with everything and Sid's doing what he can to save a bar.
Yeah. I think
Sophie's just trying. Sorry.
So I think the person who grew the most is probably Valentina. She comes into this series as this party girl who, never had a serious relationship, never had said I love you to anybody, and she falls in love with this guy and is now talking about having a family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think she has probably grown the most throughout this entire season. I don't know.
And yet she's the one who suffers the most at the end.
Yeah, she does, man. And that sucks. So I don't know what's going to happen in season 2. I'm so glad that we're getting a 20-episode second season. We're going to get more. Because if Hulu had been like, nah, we're good, we're not going to pick this up, I would have been so angry.
I feel like Hulu kind of needs some shows right now. They've got a lot, but they don't have... This is one for like Disney's pulling out all their stops right now with let's bring back there's a lot of talks Daredevil's coming back.
Yeah.
And people are like, yes, Hulu's got to have something to be able to combat these other streaming devices.
And it's I know that Hulu has their own original content. I understand that, but when I look at streaming platforms, Hulu, the only thing I typically use Hulu for are network television shows where they do when they put them up after they've already aired. They're not original shows.
Yep.
But I know that they have some because I watched Pam and Tommy, the Pamela Anderson, Tommy Lee one, and that was an original. But again, that's just a limited series. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think what was the other one I watched? Oh, Only Murders in the Building. I think was a Hulu one, and that was really good too. But you don't hear as much about this Hulu one. So yeah, I agree. I think this show has probably been getting them some more exposure because How I Met Your Mother was a big fucking show. You know what I mean? And so to have this on there, I think is going to help them. And 20 episodes, second season, man. I am excited and I hope it doesn't take forever to come out. That's all I can say for that. So, all right. Do you have any final thoughts on either the episode or the season as a whole?
No, I think we've pretty much driven it to the limit.
Yeah, man.
We drove the Chevy to the levee.
That's what we did. And well, I'm sure we'll do it again. I'm excited to get into it when it starts up for the next season. Whenever that happens to be, it's going to be a good time. So why don't you tell everybody where they can find you at, man?
I mean, listen, people, I tell you this every time. Jump on over to Twitter right here. It's simply Sane J1. Check out my podcast. Check out my blog. Both of them are entertaining, sometimes more than others. But if you want me, that's where I'm at. Or you can find me on Facebook at JJohnMade. I'm also there. I'm always willing to talk. We can talk How I Met Your Mother. We can talk wrestling. We can talk about this fat fuck sitting next to me.
What?
I love him. Again, that's where you find me. Seriously, though, jump on over to Josh's content because Josh has a lot better content.
Hey, man, I try. I do what I can. You can find me on Twitter at JP Raynor. That's JPRAYNOR, as well as right down here at Movie Blog Merc. That is the Twitter page for my site, Merc with a Movie Blog. If you're watching this on YouTube, you are on the Merc with a Movie Blog YouTube channel. So be sure to hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and click that little bell, wherever the fuck that sucker is, wherever it is. I don't even know. Never know. I think it moves, John. I swear.
I think so.
I never know where it is.
It's funny. You really undersell your Merc with a Movie Blog page. So I'm going to take this second and tell you guys. He has, oh, God, what is it? Once Upon a Marvel?
Oh, what a Marvel.
Oh, what a Marvel.
Yeah, I cover all the Disney plus Marvel shows and some other Marvel stuff as well. I did MODOK, the Hulu series that they did, which was really good.
Listen, he's got stuff about the Schmodown on here. If you guys are fans of the Schmodown, he has trailer reviews, which I have taken and helped with on a couple of occasions.
I do some Star Wars stuff. I have a show called Old Mando. Where I do the Mandalorian
Didn't you also
universe.
just do a Book of Boba Fett?
Yep. It's because that's part of the Mandalorian universe. Yep.
Listen, people, he has great content. And it's not just here at Merc with the Movie Blog. Don't forget to jump on over to DC News.
DC Comics News. Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, this man puts out the content. If you need people to help with your content, if you need people to look over your content, he is an available person to help do that kind of stuff. He runs several different blogs. He is your blog guy.
Boom. And you know what, John? You do stuff too, because we are on another podcast together.
We are. We also have Off the Ropes with John and Josh. We've been running that since 2006, 2007?
No, 2012. The original version was 2012.
Was it really? So it's been 10 years?
10 years this
year.
Wow,
10 years. Well, we took a big gap in between. But
yeah, but this new iteration has been running for the last almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Now, so and I like where we are now with it.
Yeah. We're recording a new episode this upcoming Saturday. It's going to be a tribute to the recently deceased Scott Hall. If you guys are wrestling fans, please check us out on Off the Ropes. JJ on all platforms.
Yeah, off the ropes, JJ. Definitely check that out. And again, with this podcast, if you're listening to it on Anchor, anchor.fm/last call HIMYM, please leave us a voice message. We will definitely, we want to hear those. We'll play it on air. Yeah, absolutely. And if you're on Apple or Spotify, you can leave us a 5-star review. If you write something, we will read that on air as well. And be sure to follow us on Twitter at Last Call HIMYM. That's HIMYM for How I Met Your Mother. Follow us there, and we'll get back to you. We'll interact. I'll interact. I'll tell John what you said, and then he'll tell me, and I'll interact for him. You know how it works.
I'll be like, you write this down. You are the ones who are the ball lickers.
That's right. Ball lickers all day. But, that's about all I got for him, man. What do you got for him?
Listen, guys, for Off the Ropes, How I Met Your Father, you don't have to go home, but you can't listen here. We'll
catch you next time.